Wanna be a jerk? We're exposing you live. The fluorescent lights of Channel 7 News hummed, a soundtrack to my daily grind. I was Maya, the video editor. Not the face, not the voice, just the hands that made the pretty pictures on the screen. I loved my job, really. Taking raw footage and weaving it into a compelling story, that was my jam. But it was hard to love it when you were constantly battling a black hole of ego named Brent. Brent was the golden boy anchor. Tall, telegenic, and utterly convinced of his own brilliance. He treated me like I was his personal tech support, constantly barking orders and taking credit for my work. Sarah, our news director, meant well, but she was spread too thin to notice the subtle power dynamic. Brent brought in the ratings, so he got a free pass. I wasn't completely powerless. I had my side hustle streaming. Under the moniker Pixel Perfect, I dissected video games, analyzed gameplay, and offered my often snarky commentary. It was a small community, but it was mine. A place where I wasn't just the invisible editor, but a voice. Brent, of course, scoffed at it. Playing video games? That's a career for children, Maya. He'd say it with that condescending smirk that made my teeth grind. The charity gala piece was the final straw. I poured my heart into it, crafting a narrative that highlighted the organization's impact. I even used some innovative editing techniques, incorporating animation and kinetic typography. It was good. Damn good. And Brent, after barely glancing at the final product, went on air and presented it like it was all his idea. I really wanted to showcase their hard work, he said, flashing that practiced, winning smile. I watched from the control room, a knot of fury tightening in my stomach. That was it. I was done being invisible. Then Brent announced his grand plan. He was going to do a live stream during the next On Location report, a story about the opening of a new community garden. It'll be raw, authentic, behind-the-scenes access, he declared, practically vibrating with self-importance. I'll engage with the viewers, show them the real me. My brain started churning. A live stream, unfiltered. That was a vulnerability, an opportunity. I confided in David, the intern. David was a godsend, a bright, enthusiastic kid who actually appreciated my skills. He was also a coding whiz. David, I said, my voice low, I need your help. I want to expose Brent during his live stream. David's eyes widened. Expose him? How? I laid out my plan. It was audacious, borderline insane, but it just might work. We would subtly hijack his stream, injecting pre-recorded snippets of Brent's less than stellar moments, the condescending remarks caught on hot mics, the emails where he took credit for my work, the general air of entitlement that radiated from him like a toxic cloud. David was in. I can write a script that will run in the background, analyzing the audio and video feed. When certain keywords or phrases are detected, it'll trigger the playback of the corresponding clips. We worked in secret, late into the night. David wrote the code, I gathered the evidence. It was risky. If we got caught, we'd both be fired, but the thought of finally holding Brent accountable fueled me. Chloe, my best friend, was my voice of reason and occasional cheerleader. Maya, are you sure about this? It could backfire spectacularly. I know, I said, but I can't keep letting him get away with it. He's not just hurting me, he's creating a toxic environment for everyone. The day of the live stream arrived. The community garden was picturesque, bursting with vibrant colors. Brent, wearing a crisp linen shirt and a forced smile, stood in front of the camera, ready to charm the masses. I was in the Channel 7 van, parked a safe distance away, David beside me, his fingers flying across the keyboard. My heart hammered against my ribs. This was it. Okay, David whispered. Script is running. We're live. Brent launched into his opening spiel, talking about the importance of community and sustainability. He actually sounded almost sincere. Then, it began. A barely audible snippet of Brent saying, Maya, can you even operate this equipment? Played for a fraction of a second. It was subtle, almost imperceptible. Did you hear that? David asked. I bit my lip. Keep going. Brent continued, oblivious. He started interviewing a local resident, asking about the benefits of the garden. Then, another snippet. This time, a recording of Brent complaining about having to work on the charity gala piece. Ugh, I have to pretend to care about underprivileged kids all day. Kill me now. This one was a little more noticeable. The comments section of the live stream started to flicker with confusion. Did he just say? Brent, still unaware, plowed ahead. And now, let's take a look at some of the volunteers who helped make this garden a reality. That was our cue for the next phase. A series of emails flashed on the screen, emails where Brent had explicitly instructed me to remove his name from the credits of the charity gala video and replace it with his own. The comments section exploded. Wait a minute, he stole someone else's work. This isn't very authentic at all. Brent started to sweat. He glanced nervously at the camera. Technical difficulties, folks, he stammered. Just a minor glitch, but it was too late. The snowball had started rolling. David increased the frequency of the disruptions. Snippets of Brent making fun of David's eagerness, mimicking Sarah's voice, and generally being a colossal jerk filled the stream. Viewers were not happy. The comments section transformed from a Brent fan club into a raging inferno of criticism. "He's a fraud, expose him, we want Maya." Brent was visibly panicking. His carefully constructed facade was crumbling before his eyes. He started ranting, blaming the technical crew, claiming he was being set up. That was when I unleashed the final bomb. A hidden camera recording I'd made of Brent bragging to another anchor about how he'd stolen my ideas for the charity video and how pathetic my streaming career was. The silence in the van was deafening. We just stared at the screen, watching Brent's career implode in real time. Then Sarah stormed onto the scene. She was livid. "Brent, what in the world is going on?" She tried to shut down the live stream, but David had locked it down. Brent, desperate, pointed at me. "It's her, she's sabotaging me, she's jealous of my success." Sarah looked from Brent to the screen, then back to Brent. A flicker of understanding crossed her face. "Is that true, Maya?" I took a deep breath. This was it. No turning back. "Yes," I said, my voice shaking slightly. "It's true. He's been taking credit for my work for months. He belittles me, he creates a hostile work environment, and he thinks he can get away with it because he brings in the ratings." The comments section went wild. Justice for Maya trended instantly. Sarah stared at Brent, her expression a mix of disbelief and disgust. "Brent," she said, her voice cold, "you're suspended, effective immediately. Security, please escort him off the premises." The live stream cut to black. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Brent was a pariah. His social media following evaporated. Channel 7 was flooded with calls demanding his resignation. I was terrified. I knew I'd probably be fired. But then Sarah called me into her office. "Maya," she said, "I owe you an apology. I've been so focused on the bottom line that I completely missed what was happening. Brent's behavior was unacceptable and I should have addressed it sooner." She offered me a promotion, head video editor, more creative control. A raise. I was stunned. Really, she said. "You're incredibly talented, Maya, and you deserve to be recognized." But the best part was what happened with my streaming channel. Pixel Perfect blew up. People were drawn to my story, my honesty, my refusal to be silenced. My subscriber count skyrocketed. I started getting sponsorships. It was surreal. I did a live stream, sharing my story, answering questions, and encouraging others to stand up for injustice, no matter how small. David and Chloe were there, supporting me, cheering me on. The chat was a blur of positivity and encouragement. As I looked at the screen at the outpouring of support, I realized something. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about taking control of my narrative. It was about using my voice, my skills to make a difference. Brent tried to apologize, a pathetic, groveling attempt to salvage his career. I ignored him. He was irrelevant. I was pixel perfect, and I was just getting started.